Good evening, Aries. This is Kimberly at Garden Witch Tarot at gmail.com. You can reach me for a personal reading via email that way. This is a special for Aries people. I'm an Aries. I'm an April 4th Aries, so sometimes that's kind of considered the a little more level-headed Aryan. That's what I tell myself to feel better at least. You Aryans know that we're ruled by fire, and fire, is like the most important discovery to man in the past several, millions of years. Fire brings life and warmth and good things and change. You burn off a field of weeds, and even though it may seem destructive, that's where growth comes from. That's when new growth can happen, is when old growth gets removed, or old garbage, weeds, whatever. So I had it in my mind. I felt compelled to put out a video about accepting the changes and some of the positive things and painful things, perhaps, that can happen to Aries when they're growing. I know for myself, I kind of have a save the world kind of complex about me. From the time I was very little, my parents got divorced when I was only like 3, and I was like, "Don't cry, mommy, I'll take care of you." And then when my dad got remarried, he came to me. I was only like 4, so I don't remember all of this, but he said, "Is it okay? I'm thinking about getting married again." And is that okay? And I said, of course that's okay, because I actually think that's a fantastic idea, because I want somebody to take care of you when I'm not there to take care of you. And then after they got married, she hadn't stayed over on the weekends that we visited my dad, and it got to be dark, and I was like, when is she going home? My dad was like, we're married now. I'm like, yeah. When is she going home? Because I'm here now. I'm here to take care of you. I'm here to take care of you, so she can go. And he was like, no, she lives here now. She's staying. Like, oh, well, you didn't explain the program very clearly, because I might not have agreed to that. But there's a thing about Aries, very caring. There's kind of two sides to an Aries, or not two sides like there are to a Gemini, or two sides like there are to some of the other astrological signs. But there's this like a big brave front, this strong warrior, that really, honestly, in their heart of hearts, like, I never heard can't be done. No, anything is possible. For an Aries, there's like, the sky is the limit. It's a world of infinite possibilities, and you have the personality to, like, hey, let's do this. Let's get it off the ground. Let's do something about it. Or you're scared? There's no reason to be scared. I'll comfort you. I will protect you. I'm a warrior. I've got this. And the thing that happens sometimes with an Aries is, when you're the strong one. Oh, I'm sorry, let me get back to this other aspect. Behind that big warrior, behind that brave person who's ready to take on the world, is an innocent little kid, is a child, is a vulnerable aspect of an Aries that you may never see unless you get really, really close to one of them. I don't like to be vulnerable in front of people. I don't like to let people know. When I was a kid, I remember my brother was scared of the dark, and even though he was 2 years older than me, I had to, you know, reassure him that nothing was going to happen. Well, I was scared that there were like monsters under the bed, or that something would grab my foot, and so I'd stand on the middle of the bed and like take a flying leap off of it just in case. And but I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell that to anybody because I was the brave one. I was the champion. It's like I wasn't allowed to be weak or show weakness, but the weakness is there. And one of the challenges for Aries is in our path is to grow as people. And we can't grow as people if we don't acknowledge that vulnerability. And if we don't take steps to ensure that vulnerable person that's in us is nurtured. So it's almost like raising yourself as a kid. It's like you need to take steps to protect yourself and to nurture that vulnerable side of yourself. So for instance, if a kid burns his fingers touching a hot surface of some kind, you know, you don't say, oh, that's silly, get over it. You need to tell that kid, hey, you know what? It's okay that you're hurt. I understand that that's hurtful. That hurt you, and I understand that you're scared, and it's okay to be scared. It's okay that you were scared, and it's okay that you were hurt. Are you okay? And really, excuse me, Aries, this is how you really need to treat that vulnerable part of yourself. You can't just ignore it forever. You can't be like la-di-da-di, glass is half full, let me, everything's fine. That's another thing, you know. I'm a very empathetic person. I know not all Aries are, but I always want to give people a chance to have faults or flaws. I want to embrace people's flaws. I understand that the whole world does not revolve around me, that not everything is about me. I understand that if somebody walks up to me and doesn't act like themselves, for instance, and is maybe short with me or something like that, that it may not have anything to do with me. They may be having a bad day on their own. But also in the course of saying, well, maybe this thing that happened didn't have to do with me personally. I also have to be able to say, you know what, even though somebody else did have something else going on in their life or something like that, I have to make it okay to acknowledge that hurt me, that those actions hurt me. And so sometimes I think Aries get caught up in that too, in being so the champion for everybody, so much to the place where they don't acknowledge that things hurt them. And you know, you may not be able to do anything about it, but understanding that that it's okay to be hurt and allowing yourself to be hurt brings you to a higher place as a person. So I pulled a couple of cards for this reading because I wanted to impart some knowledge, or see what the universe had to say about that. And the first card that I got, and this is from Doreen Virtue, the Fairy Tarot cards. The first card that I got is the High Priestess. And what it says is trusting your intuition, careful reflection before taking action, and insights that come through meditation. So this is very important. The Empress, if you'll see here in this card, she's got a book. She's got a book. She's gathered she's taken all the time, and she's imparted, she's gathered all this knowledge, this wisdom, this intuition, and she has it all written down, and she's ready to share it. And so, you know, sometimes, Aries, you have to trust your intuition. Sometimes not everybody gets a free pass with you. Sometimes, instead of charging straight ahead into something, you need to reflect. And then sometimes you need to take time after something and meditate on it, and specifically deal with that vulnerable part of you and get in touch with how that vulnerable part of you has been affected, and make sure that you're taking care of yourself and nurturing that vulnerable part of you, because oftentimes when you're the strong one, who do you turn to? Who do you turn to? And unfortunately, or fortunately, sometimes you have very strong people around you that you can turn to that you may not have thought to. Sometimes you may be scared, and you may be surprised when you allow that inner vulnerability to come out, that people are very willing and not judging, and very willing to comfort and to nurture that vulnerable side of you as well. Okay, the other card that I pulled two, is the release card. This corresponds, excuse me, this corresponds to the devil in a traditional deck. It's number 13, the major arcana. I pulled two major arcana cards, the High Priestess and Release, actually in this order. And Release says, let go of the past, an ending that makes way for new opportunities, or time to move on. What I really want to say about this, Aries, about letting go of the past, moving on, endings that make way for new opportunity. I know that for me personally, since I am a glasses half full kind of person in every situation, I am like, if there's a group of people and there's a meteor that's hit the earth and the atmosphere is disrupted and there's fire everywhere, and I'm the person that you might turn to for some silver lining. So I'm like the ultimate optimist. Like, what can I find in this to create something and move forward, and anything is possible. Still that strong spirit. And sometimes to a point where I don't even, there's been times in my life where I haven't let go of things that I thought maybe I had, because I hadn't processed them, or I had made excuses for other people and not acknowledged my own vulnerability. I'm having such a hard time with that word today. My own vulnerability in the situation. And it may not be that I don't want to let go, but it may be that I haven't really touched the part of the subject or the situation. I haven't dealt with it in a way, a healthy, productive way. I haven't processed it in a way that really allows me to move on. So, I have to step back sometimes and inventory. I start getting headaches. I start getting stomach aches. I start having insomnia. This should, if you're an Aries and you've never had headaches or stomach aches or insomnia, then please email me with your secrets, because I don't know how you've done that. We're ruled by Mars. We're the head. That's the first thing. When I start to have headaches, when I start to have insomnia, I always have to self-reflect. I have to ask myself, what is going on? What is going on here? what's wrong with me because I'm so glass is half full and charging full throttle through life. And I have to say, what is going on that my head hurts? And, you know, sometimes it's something that I can't do anything about. If I'm working long hours at work or if there's a lot going on with my family or my children or whatever, there may not be time to pause. There may not be a different way of achieving my goals. Like I can't just I can't sit at home and not do anything and pay my bills at the same time. So there might not be a solution, but just the fact of taking inventory and processing it and trying to get in touch with this is the honest truth of how this is affecting me, my vulnerable side, my vulnerable self, not the hard charger that puts her face on and goes out into the world every day, but the part of me that I don't want to show to people, that inner hurt person or the person that can be hurt. I need to get in touch with that and say, what is this doing to that side of me that's making my head hurt? So process, Aries. Take the intuition that you have. Trust your intuition. Get in touch with the truth about how things are affecting you. Let it go. Let it go. And just like I started this video, this says an ending that makes way for new opportunities. I started this video talking about burning a field, taking the fire, the Aries, the fire that burns away the field, and then it yields way for new growth. You've got to do this, Aries. That's how you grow. It's an ending that makes way for new opportunities. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that some of you get some insight and maybe some wisdom and comfort from this. I'm going to send my love out into the universe for all of you Aries. So virtual hug. Good night.